Putin News Now. Putin celebrates the Soviet Union, but freedom is highly valued in Ukraine. I was in the cultural epicenter of Odessa 4 months before Russia invaded Ukraine. My Ukrainian coworker saw some gangly soldiers standing on the corner, and he expressed concern for the future of the country if the government sent warriors dressed like that into battle. We failed to account for their determination and bravery. Russians underestimated their resolve, but so did the rest of the Western world. If Ukraine is given the resources and support it needs, it can win this war. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is, without a doubt, illegal. The West must aid in the destruction of Russian military assets and in countering Russian claims that Ukraine is an integral part of Russia. Bill Browder, the founder of Hermitage Capital Management and once Russia's largest portfolio investor, has predicted massive upheaval in the country if Russia is defeated in Ukraine. To quote one analyst, it could likely precipitate the fall of Vladimir Putin, who has ruled Russia for 23 years. It's unclear whether or not he's ever enjoyed widespread support. He rules with an iron fist of fear. In 2005, after Browder exposed government corruption in Russia, he was expelled from the country. They issued an international arrest warrant for me and then followed me around the world. Ironically, Putin now faces the same problems. An arrest warrant has been issued for him by the International Criminal Court on charges of unlawful deportation of children. Putin is a seasoned political figure. He was a KGB agent before succeeding Boris Yeltsin as president in May 2000. The international community at the time speculated that Putin would follow in Yeltsin's democratic footsteps. The world's leaders, however, were unaware of how much he would resemble Joseph Stalin. Putin praises the former Soviet Union. The news of its destruction has devastated him. But he has a serious case of hubris, thinking that he alone can bring back this ancient reptile. A former Soviet retreat, Kuyalnik Resort, is now dilapidated and resembles the Titanic at the bottom of the sea. It is a symbol of the destruction. The average Russian makes about $15,000 a year while Putin and the Russian oligarchs enjoy lavish lifestyles. The urban cores are beautiful, but the country as a whole has a severe lack of educational institutions and medical facilities. You have to show people why your culture is so special and why it's in danger. Professor of philosophy at Yale University and Babel interviewee Jason Stanley warned that, then emotions will take over. Future uncertainty and a sluggish economy will prove beneficial. Only your nationality will seem to define you. There is nothing left for poor Russians to live for except the pride of being Russian, and they are willing to die for it. But only extreme Russian nationalists back this conflict. Russian draftees are demoralized and uninspired. Russian President Vladimir Putin believes his military can easily defeat Ukraine's armed forces because the West lacks the strength to sustain an extended conflict. The plan is to overthrow its legitimately elected government and replace it with a Russia-friendly one. Putin, on the other hand, is underconvinced of democracy's efficacy, thinking that free speech and tolerance undermine authority. Ukraine, like the rest of the former Soviet bloc, will never give up. Putin, facing resistance from Ukrainians, will therefore accept maintaining control over occupied territory in eastern Ukraine. They want Russia to give up and go home. However, they can't win without cutting-edge hardware, especially fighter planes. Ukraine has received 70 American-made planes thanks to the good fortune of Denmark, Norway, and the Netherlands. In addition, the United States has given Ukraine $75 billion in military and humanitarian aid, which is a small percentage of the country's GDP. Ukraine's neighbors give more on a per-person basis. For Ukraine to maintain its independence and prove Russia wrong, there must be unwavering dedication to the cause. The Cold War ended in 1989 when the Berlin Wall came down.